Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of Taking Names, and this is my playthrough of Elden Ring, and we're at Stormveil Castle now. And last time I said that Margit and also the Tree Sentinel were a bit of a rites of passage for players of this game, but as I play through Stormveil Castle, it just feels like it gets harder and harder. And I'm a little bit afraid actually, because it's hard enough already, and I don't really want to get it that much harder and have it be too much of a struggle, because it's already kind of wearing me down a little bit. It's a little bit stressful. I think more so the fact that losing runes, losing progress, that sort of thing is a stressful thought. Over the actual boss battles. The boss battles are tough, but because you've got Sights of Grace right there, you don't feel like you're losing as much progress. So it's things like this guy who took me 3 or 4 goes to beat, this Banished Knight. And it was quite a difficult fight because it's the first time you face off such a difficult opponent in a room as well. And it's very dark. And so you have to go through all of those common enemies again, which is a little bit annoying. And he's difficult because he has a few attacks where he kind of freezes you with that wind attack, and you gotta kind of get out of the way or you get staggered, and it's hard to tell when he's going to be doing an attack as well. So, but I ended up defeating him. Now, I feel like Stormveil Castle is pretty linear. Like, it seems like it's divided into 3 parts, one for each section of the Sights of Grace that you get to. So this is, I'm making my way through to the first Sight of Grace, and this is yet another one of those nights that I actually end up finding quite difficult throughout Stormveil Castle, because I always seem to get caught up and get frozen by those wind attacks. And the thing is, like, you really can only afford to hit one time. If you try to go for 2 or 3 attacks, he'll end up hitting you with that wind attack and freezing you. But after you defeat him, you go up the stairs and then you come up to the first Sight of Grace. And I feel like that was a nice point to just save and just take a breather before getting to the second part with these crazy birds who throw barrels of dynamite at you. And the way to do it is not to do what I just did then. The way to do it is to back off a bit and then wait for them to throw that barrel of dynamite. Now, this is yet another one of those nights, and doing this over and over again, I never really felt like I got the hang of them. So hopefully after a while, maybe if I level up a little bit more, they'll be a little bit easier. But they always found it easy to stagger me quite easily. But after you make your way past a couple of those nights, you end up getting to what is called the Grafted Scion. And you can just stand on that platform there and shoot projectiles at him if you really want. But he is not that difficult if you're a melee user. You just wait for him to do a few attacks and then you just go in for the kill. So he looks menacing, but he is not that menacing. And those poles or columns, they also help because they kind of get him stuck around stuff. But that room is amazingly well designed from an art perspective. Now, I never actually unlocked that door behind me, but once you beat the Grafted Scion, you come through this area full of guards, and I didn't actually record that bit, but I made my way to that second Sight of Grace, the one that you just saw. And this bit is kind of annoying. It's not hard, but it takes time, which is a lot of the time. Miyazaki, the director of the game, he's always stressing patience playing this game. So you are always asked to be very particular and do things precisely. So you got to go through each one and you know, pick them off, kite them back so that you can take them on one by one. But this is the best way to get to the Lion Guardian, because you go from up the top there and take out all of the archers. Now you can take the Lion Guardian melee if you really wanted to. I don't think he is actually that difficult, but because I didn't want to take through or go through 50 common enemies again if I died, I decided to cheese this guy. And I found that if you up on this platform here, you can just shoot projectiles at him, and he finds it quite difficult to get up there. Now that's not to say he can't get up, because he definitely can. So you see here me running away from him, but he actually gets stuck and he doesn't know where you've gone. So you can just stand up here and just fire projectiles at him until he dies. And so you could do that if you wanted to. But honestly, I don't think he is that difficult. Also, there is a site of grace if you go back out to that main gate there, which is really cool. Now, if you go back to where the Lion Guardian came from, you go through this big room, and then you get to this archway here, which takes you back to Stormveil. And there's that big bridge that I think you would have seen before while you were in Stormveil. And there's a couple of giants on this bridge. You could wait for the archer to shoot him down, but I think it's just easier if you're a melee person. You could just get him stuck in this archway and take him down this way. And he is pretty easy once he gets stuck. He finds it very hard to move around. But yeah, these giants aren't that difficult. Now the second melee giant that you see here, you can get him taken down by the archer behind him. So all you have to do is just wait around a little bit and wait for him to shoot him down. And then you go and take down this archer, and he's pretty easy. He doesn't really have any melee attacks other than that stomp there. Now the reason you want to come down here is I think there's a divine tower. So after you beat Godrick the Great, you get a rune, and then you need to come back here and use that rune. But I haven't done that yet, so I don't know. Before you go to the boss battle of Godrick, you want to go into this room here and talk to Nepheli, and you can summon her for the boss battle, and I think that makes the boss battle a lot easier. Now for the boss battle, you go back to the site of grace that I just showed you there. I think it's called the Rampart Tower. You go up the lift, and then you can go to another site of grace from there. But it's pretty easy. This is Godrick the Great, and I died a couple of times where I got super close. And you can see here I've got a full amount of health. I should be able to take him down. But one of his attacks, probably the most annoying one, is his fire, because it can just go on forever. And you can get frozen out a little bit there. You can get staggered, and then he keeps on throwing fire at you. But the way I beat him was that I used Nepheli, and when you have Nepheli, you have a second player with you. They can help because they help to stagger or interrupt the boss, so you can get a few more hits in that way. And that way, you can get some much bigger hits in, critical hits in, to knock him back. And also, if you do it quickly, Nepheli lasts for much longer of the fight. So that way, it helps you that way as well. Rather than if you were to stand back and shoot magic or projectiles or arrows or something, that would take forever, and then Nepheli would be wasted. So Godrick has a second phase where he's just shooting flame, which is pretty difficult. You can hide behind some of these tombstones. Not all of them, because some of them get destroyed. And always good to have Nepheli around for as long as possible. But Godrick's really has one attack that is really destructive, which is the one where he stomps down. And if you sense it, the first one, you need to roll back, because the second one has a wider radius. But aside from that, a lot of his other attacks can be rolled through pretty easily, and then all you got to do is avoid that flame, and hopefully he doesn't shoot the flame for too long, and then you should be able to take care of him. And then I've also got the lone wolves as well. But as you can see here, I have him pretty much covered. I've still got 5 flasks of Crimson Tears, and I've let the dogs loose out on him, so there you go. It took about 10 goes, but I finally got him down, and I don't think it was that difficult. But what was difficult was a lot of those other areas of tons of enemies and worrying about losing all of that progress. Okay, so that's going to be it for this one. I hope you enjoyed my playthrough of Elden Ring in Stormveil Castle, and if you did, leave a like and also subscribe to the channel for more of my gameplay videos, and I will see you in the next one.